And welcome back. Mike Blake again with Ken Schulteis and Dean Webster. The fourth and final game, and it should be a dandy, folks, as Vincennes meets Bloomington South. They've been playing basketball in Vincennes up in Knox County, Kenny, since 1905. No other school in Indiana history's won more sectional with 67. This bunch, you talk about a tradition, huh?
They have a great tradition, and they've had outstanding coaches, but more importantly, they have an outstanding community that really puts a lot of emphasis on their basketball, as well as all their extracurriculars up at Vincennes. They've just done a great job across the board, but the Alice Green and the basketball just seem to go together.
Through the years, they've had some marvelous players, and this year they've got a wonderful 6'8". He's probably maybe closer to 6'9". Charles Hetty. He's coming to Evansville. He'll be the man inside, but you know he's got some nice support. Hetty missed the first few games, and a kid named Lowe picked up the slack. So he's not the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, and I think that from a coaching standpoint, you don't want to go in with your best player out for 4 games. But from the other standpoint, you say this is a chance for my team to grow up and mature and gain some balance and confidence. And then when Charles Hetty comes back, let's give it a game or two, and we're going to be even better. And, you know, even better at Vincennes Lincoln, that's hard to imagine. But, you know, when I was coaching, we were fortunate to have some success against Vincennes. And I always thought if we played well or could beat Vincennes, then we knew we had a good shot at having a fine year, because they're kind of one of those marks that you look at. Absolutely. You look at Vincennes Lincoln, if you can play well and play with Vincennes Lincoln, then you know you've got a good basketball team.
Now the team that's on the court, the very natty stripes and white, the purple and white, it's the Panthers of Bloomington South. They came down here and beat a tremendous Harrison football team and went on to win state. Hey, they say, you know, coaches, as being a former coach, if you win in football, it kind of sets the tone for the whole year. These kids, and they've got some kids on the football team that went out and said, hey, I can't play with these guys. We're gonna take a pass. So this team must really have some good talent.
Absolutely. Bloomington South is a solid club, and they're led by underclassmen, and J.R. Holmes is a fine coach. And hey, you want your best athletes playing every sport. And for those people out there that try to tell kids don't play this because you're playing that, you're wrong. If they're good, let them play a la Scott Rowlands and Matt Mauks that I've experienced. Hey, they can play, let them play.
The Andy Venices, the Don Mattingly.
Absolutely.
J.R. Holmes, and one of the reasons they agreed to come down, J.R. and I have been friends for a long time. I used to be the voice of the Mitchell Blue Jackets, and he and I on Saturday morning, he and I used to on Saturday morning sit and eat an omelet and talk basketball. So I've known JR for a long time, and our relationship's kind of how the South Panthers ended up here. And I tell you what, he has been everywhere he has been. He's back at Tunnelton High School, which is now part of the consolidation at Bedford North Lawrence. He went on to Mitchell and then on to Bloomington South, and he's won everywhere he's gone.
And of course, he is very familiar. One of the reasons he also wanted to get the game, because he knows Chuck Hetty, having had him in AAU, and boy, is he high on Hetty. He's a member of his fan club.
Well, they didn't have a home place to play because their gym's being renovated, so they were actually going to play this game at Assembly Hall. And when he found out that they could have a chance to play at Roberts Stadium, they said, that's even better, because I've heard all about Roberts Stadium, been there and seen it many times. I've never coached there.
Here's our starting lineup for the Panthers. It's pronounced Shibley. He's number 25. He'll be one of the forwards. Also, Ross Freeman, a 6'6" junior. The man in outside, Jeremy McLaughlin, a 6'2" junior, fine shooter, good ball handler, takes it to the hole. Also from outside, Kyle Hankins, a 6'2" freshman. But the main man is Holmes, the coach's son, number 11, John Holmes, a junior. He is like a water bug out there. He just never stops. He's constant motion. That's the 5 that will take the floor, opening the game for Bloomington South. For the Vincennes Lincoln Alice's, UE bound, Charlie Hetty. He's the forward. Another good senior, a guard, Craig Curzan, shoots left-handed. He reminded me a little bit of Pat Graham in the face. Very heady kid. Also, Justin Lowe will play in the middle. The 2 guards, the Rath brothers, Todd and Mitch Rath. Mitch is a senior. Todd is a sophomore. Mitch was the super sub last year. He's a starter this afternoon. Again, Vincennes comes in with a record of 5-1. They're 2-0 in Big 8. Their only loss to North Knox, 53-49. That was when Hetty did not play. Bloomington South 6-1. They lost to Marion by 16. And JR said, Kenny, he said, we really should have won that game. He said, I was really disappointed with our offense that we didn't come back. But he's not crying. He knows that he's got a very fine ball club, and they're gonna win the majority of their games.
Well, he's got a good ball club, and he's got one that works hard. I've seen his son for several, even before he was in high school, in the gym working out on his own during the summers when I take kids up to AAU games. And JR, he kind of shows his dedication to the game, and it feeds over to his players. And Adam Shively, he dunked the basketball when he was in 8th grade. I mean, that's a pretty good accomplishment. You know, he's 6'3.5" junior today, but as an 8th grader, he was dunking the basketball. So that's not too bad. And
that may explain one of the reasons why he has such a good field goal percentage, 63%. You know, if you get up that high, you're not going to miss too many. But very, very fine and very athletic. But again, when you play these two teams, I liked your comment in the pregame, a chess match. These are two. When you think of guys like Holmes, but also that you're with Miller and have coached against Gene Miller, what does it mean? What does he bring as a coach to the game of basketball?
Well, they bring all phases of the game. They bring actually what they're practicing. They bring it into the game, and as they come into the game, they're prepared. They're absolutely prepared for different situations that will come up. You know, you don't go into a game expecting everything to go the way you think it will. And you look at each situation. You can't watch the game, Mike. You got to keep ahead of the game. You got to think of the next play. And that's what Gene Miller and J.R. Holmes, they both do. That's why I call it a chess match. They're thinking a play ahead. And if you're not thinking a play ahead, you're going to get your butt beat that night. And I'm not teasing. I'm not going to soften it, water it down. You better be ready to coach, and your kids better be ready to play, because they're going to take advantage of every opportunity they get.
Two veteran coaches, J.R. Holmes in his 16th year at Bloomington, 28 years as a head coach. He's won 379 times, and as Dean said, he was a coach at Mitchell. Also, talk about a fine record, 17th year for Gene Miller. He's won 378 games as a head coach. He's won 15 of his last 16 sections.
And do you know that he's never won less than 15 games while he's been there at Vincennes Lincoln? That is incredible.
It is. That's like Dean Smith of North Carolina, never having 20 losing it. He's always winning more than 20 plus over 26 years.
They don't rebuild, they reload, guys. And here we go. The guns are ready to stack right here.
Here we go. Should be a good one. Glad you're with us, Tri-State. The 4th game of the Hoops Classic. Ross Freeman going up against Vincennes Justin Lowe. And it's control. And they have changed the starting lineup a little bit on us. With Mitch Rath. This is Todd Rath. Mitch looking low, gets it down to Justin Lowe. Gets his man up, and a foul and a basket.
See, they're coming right out at you, and they're going to establish that low post game. They're going to put themselves in a position to force you to come down on them, and then you're going to start seeing the high-low game develop between Lowe and Hetty and people, and then you're going to see them kick it out on the perimeter.
And Lowe converts the three-point play, and it's the first 3 points of the ball game.
Would you say that Justin Lowe is a pretty good physique on him?
Oh, man.
Mike and I saw him play against Evansville Central and just really impressed with the way the kid played. With Charles Hetty out of there, he really owned the inside that night.
Here's Holmes. Doesn't get it to go, and Lowe with the rebound.
But both teams have come out, moved the ball from one side to the other, kicked it in, and South kicked it back out to their great shooter, Holmes. But both teams are working both sides of the floor.
Very patient. This is Mitch Rath into the paint, gets off the shot, and a rebound brought down by Hankins. Bloomington South, some fine guards, really take care of that basketball. Here they find Hankins on the far side. Still batted around. Rath gets his hands on it, and Lowe controls it, but momentarily loses it and gets it back to Todd Rath. And Hetty with his first touch of the basketball. Nice entry into Justin Lowe. Curzan gets it back, a ricochet back to Mitch Rath. Here's Hetty. Rath. And the outlet to Kyle Hankins. And a foul on Todd Rath.
Mike, I thought Charles Eddy showed great patience down here. They kind of left him open to look at that three, and Charles can hit that, but he kind of backed off. He wants to get into the flow of the game and stay with the game plan. Let's work the inside. And down on the other end, you can see on the replay, tried to cut him off as he came down the sideline, bumped him for a foul.
Kyle Hankins, in only his freshman year, getting some wonderful experience. He was a sub, but he's starting this game. You see, he played a lot of minutes coming off the bench prior to getting the start today. He moves well. Off the rim and knocked away by Justin Lowe. That was McLaughlin. Dean, you like McLaughlin, don't you?
You know, we looked at a couple of tapes. McLaughlin just really impressed me. He's kind of the Jared Thomas of Pike Central. I mean, he's a kind of kid that just does everything, the little things. I mean, he's always blocking out. He's always in the passing lane. He's always bumping, you know, taking on one of the better offensive players of the other team. I just think he did everything right. He does very little wrong.
Petty with the shot and a foul underneath. And it's called. I believe they're going to call it on Justin Lowe. And they do. Both
teams, you know, again, I think we've seen it all day. And it's probably because it's the vacation time, but we're not seeing a lot of body blockouts. We're seeing a lot of jumping at the ball, and I really think that that's going to be something the coaches are going to go over and over with on those tapes when they break them down. And believe me, these two coaches will break those tapes down.
Holmes, and he gets it. John Holmes, as a coach, how important was it? Did the holidays, did you want to break, or do you want to keep playing?
Well,
traveling call. It's
really tough there because you want to break, but if you can get into something like this, it's a great pick-me-up during the holiday break. But, you know, kids are like anybody else. Christmas, New Year's, and they want their time. They don't focus all the time through the holidays, and that's okay.
3-3, game knotted up as number 3. McLaughlin on the alley-oop, couldn't convert as Lowe brings it down.
You know, Vince Sims is playing a zone down here, which is not something that Vince Sims does commonly. And South took advantage of him getting up too high, and they backdoored him.
Petty draws crowd, but steps on the line, and it'll go back to the Bloomington South Panthers.
One thing, guys, we talked about the officiating. We got two of the best in Indiana right here, in Ron Grimes and Carl March. These guys have been around a long time. They've done a lot of tournament games, and they've done a lot of games here at Roberts Stadium.
Ball deflected, and Raff gets it back for Vincennes. Here's Mitch Raff. And a nice box out and a rebound. Brought down by Ross Freeman. They like that skip pass, don't they?
It's a great weapon against the zone defense. It forces the zone to really move and move quickly. That's where openings are going to come in.
Both teams kind of cold here as we have a jump ball between Lowe and Freeman. It'll be maintained by Bloomington South.
Two pretty big bodies getting down on the floor right there. I felt the floor shaking a little bit.
Like two trees falling down.
Might be a couple pieces of wood busted down there.
Holmes finds himself open. Boy, I like that kid shot. One of his greatest attributes is that he never stops. He's in constant motion.
He was quick on the release, and you know what set that up? And a lot of people might wonder why he dribbled, but as he came off that screen, he needed to square up, and he used that one dribble as a balance.
Gene Miller says, let's make sure we know where John Holmes is. Hey, and remember where you are, folks. You're watching the Hoops Classic, the first annual. It has been a wonderful day as the Bloomington South Panthers are meeting Vincennes Lincoln in the fourth and final game earlier today. Pike Central over North Posey. It was in a whale of a game. Christian County holding off a Memorial comeback. Ken Keon with 31 and Kent Williams 30, the player of the game in that contest. Adam Seitz had 26 for the victorious Pike Central Chargers. And in game 3, which just ended, a wonderful point guard named Josh Davey led the way as Christian County. Brad Frazier had a happy homecoming, came back and beat his bossy Bulldogs by 15. But this game is 6-3. Vincennes with a basketball, and they trail at the moment. Petty turns, pivots, nice shot.
Great spin move in the short corner of the baseline. He got it, gave a quick fake to the high side and spun to the baseline. Beautiful move by Petty.
John Holmes, who's already dumped in a couple. This one doesn't go, and Justin Lowe has another rebound. Holmes is 2 for 3 from outside for his 6 points. And he's been, boy, Lowe has hit him with a couple of picks. I mean, some very good picks. And Mr. Freeman has another rebound. Up to Holmes. Changes it. Nice gutter step and puts it in. You can't let the grass grow under his feet. He's pretty quick.
We're seeing some transition here. We're not seeing the big outlet passes, but you know, both teams are doing a pretty good job of getting back. Right there, Vincennes didn't get back, but it was a tough shot taken on this end by Vincennes.
8-5 Bloomington South, and they get the rebound. McLaughlin finds Holmes. He's had the hot hand. Nice rebound, but McLaughlin can't get it to go. This is Freeman. And a strong rebound, almost loses it, but give Kazan the rebound, and it's now to Red. Tenacious defense by the Bloomington South team, and they have maintained that 3-point lead. Here's Hetty. Little pitch and catch with Mr. Kazan. Low battles it. This is Kazan, and he puts it in.
Bloomington South had nobody on the backside for the rebound on the long shot by Hetty, and Vincennes was able to put it back in.
Less than 2.5 minutes in the first quarter. The home team, Vincennes Lincoln, or excuse me, Bloomington South in white, up a point, 8-7. J.R. Holmes barking out some instructions. They find his son. You know, he said his son's probably shooting too much, more than we want him to. But as long as he keeps making it right, and that is a very nice, timely basket.
Well, eventually defenses are going to just overplay him, and that's going to open up the other people like we saw right there. Holmes couldn't get the shot off, and they were able to kick it inside.
That was Carmichael with a basket, and he's got the ball again. Boy, and again, just like we saw in the earlier games, the good players look up the court. McLaughlin looked up the court. Now in traffic, a very fine play. Ross Freeman.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Gene Miller change up defensively. Vincennes seems to be standing quite a bit in the zone, and Bloomington South is getting behind him and setting the screens opposite. It's going to kill your zone in the long run. Nice move by Hetty going in the post.
Yes, switch to his left hand and draws the foul. The basket is good, and it's now back within 3.
I'm telling you what,
5 rebounds for Mr. Freeman.
One thing, if I was John Holmes, I'd be asking my teammates for a little help. He's got clobbered down here twice by Lowe, setting a pick out front, and he's been trying to hawk the point guard as he comes down. He's gotten killed twice.
Another timeout. We're going to take a break. 1:22 to go in the quarter. When we come back, 12-9 Bloomington.
The Charity Countdown Challenge is going on now at Riverbend Chevrolet
and Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury to see who can sell the most vehicles before the ball drops.
And to see who can donate the most to the Tri-State Food Bank. The big green dot means extra cash savings at Riverbend.
Temple Wolf has special year-end pricing on every new model in stock.
Who will win the Countdown Cup?
Who can offer you the best savings?
Riverbend Chevrolet.
No, it's Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Highway 41 North in Henderson.
You've waited a long time for this one. Value City Furniture's lowest prices of the year. Save hundreds on a luxurious 3-piece all-leather living room, just $1,388. This 5-piece solid pine bedroom is only $888. Save hundreds on this entire 7-piece living room, just $788. Or get the lowest price ever on this solid oak wall bed, only $588. Get the lowest prices of the year on beautiful home furnishings, but you better hurry in before the calendar runs out.
Okay, there you see it, 3 points, 1:22 to go. As Vincennes comes back out on the court, facing a 3-point deficit. And going to the line will be Mr. Hetty as he tries to complete a 3-point play. How has he changed and improved in the last year, Kenny?
He's expanded his game. You know, he's really a finesse player in that he takes what the defense gives him. He's a much better passer than he was. And, you know, when you got another player in a post like Justin Lowe, you got to be able to get the ball in there and work that high-low situation. And a rebound. As Bloomington South wastes no time, they really move the ball well. You can see the fluid motion. From way out, Kyle Hankins. He's only a freshman again. And the book on him as he handles the ball and shoots the 3 well, as he did just then. And it's a 15-9 6-point lead. Stuckey loses it. Hankins will take it the other way, and it's
8-point lead, 17-9.
Bloomington South has just done a tremendous job on the tenacity defensively. They're really up in the ball handlers' faces and really they're kind of playing like the Vincennes teams normally play defensively in the man.
Eddie looking for some help. Grabs down to Hetty and immediately draws a foul.
Well, I tell you what, you know, South really needs to put the pressure out here, because once he gets into the half court, that ball goes into the elbow areas with Hetty or Lowe. They're going to be tough to stop down there. Vincent's so fundamentally sound when they get the ball into 22 feet and in. I mean, they're just strong there.
While Freeman takes a break, Scott Fisher, number 41, is coming in, and he draws the foul. But Bloomington South gets it back. Jeff Jones is now in for the Panthers. He's number 33.
At 15 seconds, down to 12. We'll see what they run here against this defense.
Bloomington with an 8-point lead here at the end of the quarter. They get the open man. The putback no good. Vincennes gets it. And that's how the quarter ends. So the first quarter of the Game 4 of the Classic, Bloomington South with a lead, 17-9. We'll be back to Roberts Stadium right after this.
What does your bank look like? Today it might look like, or like, but it can also look like, or like, and tomorrow it might even look like.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Because we're citizens, and we're leading the way by banking your way.
Leading the way, banking your way, citizens.
What does your bank look like?
Vincennes Lincoln, a new home with a great tradition. Annually one of the best basketball programs in the state with more to be proud of. A state-of-the-art media center plus a fine arts program that brings out a student's creativity. An advanced computer laboratory prepares students to handle the technology of today and the future. Students learn from other cultures and their languages. NBC 14 salutes the Alices of Vincennes Lincoln High School, proud participants in this year's NBC 14 Hoops Classic.
Bloomington South, Kyle Hankins, who's played well here in the first quarter with this layup, helps convert to a 17-9 Bloomington advantage. Now as Vincennes inbounds the ball, let's go to Jenny Childers with a couple of aces who are down at the end of the floor. Jen?
That's right, Mike. I'm standing here with Marcus Wilson, and he is the guard for University of Evansville. Tell me, what do you think about the game here today?
It's pretty intense. I love coming to watch high school basketball, and we're just coming to check out our new teammate, Charles Hetty. He looks pretty good right now. We're just seeing how he's going to fit in with us next year.
Are you excited about the next year?
Yeah, you know, I mean, we got to take care of business this year, but it looks like he's going to be able to help us. He's real good inside, and that's what we need, some inside help. And he can play a couple different positions, so I'm glad to see that he's as good as what we thought he was.
Great. Thanks a lot, Marcus. Have a good time. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jen, and we wish Marcus the best tomorrow as they take on the Bradley Braves right here in a nationally televised game from the corner. A much-needed basket by the Alices. Craig Curzan, and it's 17-12. It's a big Fisher. Counters on the baseline. Scott Fisher, he's a big one, 6'6".
I'll tell you what, Vincennes has really struggled keeping Bloomington South from getting close to the basket on transition. And I know that Gene Miller is going to have some things to say at halftime if he doesn't say them before that. I mean, Vincennes normally doesn't give up the transition basket in that situation.
That was Jeff Jones getting his hand on the ball. Now coming out, or coming in for Bloomington South, Adam Shively, one of the starters, turns to the lineup.
Tell you what, look at the defense by Bloomington South. They're in the passing lanes. They're extending them. They're making it tough.
Vincennes with a couple more, with a couple of opportunities missed, and Shively controls the boards.
Green jersey's got to get back. They're coming at him.
Now David Prawl, number 21, with the ball. He'll run the point for a while. Bloomington runs a lot of people at you.
You know, one of the tough things almost a turnover there. One of the tough things about playing a zone is picking up in transition defense, because you're not only trying to pick up the ball, but you're trying to get back to your defensive spot.
And another contribution. Steve Sutherland, a sophomore, with his first bucket. And it's 22-12, a 10-point advantage. Vincennes shooting at 33%. Charles Hetty with a miss. Jones with a rebound.
Charles been a little bit short on his shot, but I think if he gets a little bit more in his follow-through, he'll start hitting it. He's absolutely an excellent player, and U of B's got a great three-quarter.
Nice entry pass. Fisher can't get it. And a rebound by Chuck Hetty.
One of the things that Gene Miller told me, talking to him, he said, I've never seen a high school team with so many players that do everything right, talking about Bloomington South. He said everybody can handle the ball, everybody can shoot it.
Well, I've been absolutely impressed with them, Dean, and Gene's right. They do a lot of things well.
Scott Fisher absolutely wrestles the ball away. Tries to go down low now. Watch how quickly they move the ball.
Do a great job of ball movement and skipping over the top against this zone, and it's really confusing Vincennes Lincoln.
Jones from outside, and it's pulled down by Vincennes. But they lose it right back. That was Clint Richter, couldn't hang on to it. Jones takes it up, and Fisher, the ever-present Mr. Fisher.
Too much dribbling right now for Vincennes in the open court. They need to pass the basketball. Coaches don't want wasted dribbles, and right now, if you're not going somewhere with the ball, it's a wasted dribble.
Vincennes looking at its biggest deficit, Bloomington South with its biggest lead of 24-12.
They're collapsing 3 people on Hetty in the post, and the Vincennes perimeter people aren't coming to the ball to allow a kick out.
Ramp draws a foul from David Kroll. He's a 5'9" junior. Plays very hard, and now here comes some fresh troops. 4 subs in for Bloomington South. Vincennes shooting the rock has not been a strong point. 29%, and they also have 5 turnovers with 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Well, they're really struggling, Mike. I'll tell you, right now, Charles Hetty probably would be best served when he gets that ball on the post. Keep it up high and kick it either to the top or opposite immediately, because they're collapsing 3 people. And the last 2 times Charles has brought it down by his waist, and they've been able to slap away. And I mean, they have been drilled to go after the ball when he brings it down. That isn't just something they're doing. They've practiced this.
Shane Cooper, 13 into the lineup for Vincennes. Hetty.
Short again.
Yes, and a rebound by Mr. Shively. Boy, you keep passing it quick enough. This time, Holmes couldn't get it to go.
Doesn't matter if they're missing on the perimeter right now, because they're just doing a great job of dominating on the boards. Vincennes is missing their block-out assignments, and that's one of the problems that comes with a zone. You're not sure who you're supposed to block out on a shot.
Holmes calls a timeout.
Very
wisely.
smart play.
They can use it.
22nd.
3:49 to go. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. No, we're not. Yes, we are. 24-12. Bloomington South. We'll be right back.
The Charity Countdown Challenge is going on now at Riverbend Chevy Old.
And Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury to see who can sell the most vehicles before the ball drops.
And to see who can donate the most to the Tri-State Food Bank. The big green dot means extra cash savings at Riverbend.
Temple Wolf has special year-end pricing on every new model in stock.
Who will win the Countdown Cup?
Who can offer you the best savings?
Riverbend Chevy Old.
No, it's Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Highway 41 North in Henderson.
Old National. What's in it for you?
How about something that'll give us a tax break?
We're going to need one.
Here you go. 100% home equity from Old National Bank. Tap into all the equity in your home and save big at tax time. Old National's home equity line of credit, as easy to use as writing a check. You decide where and when to use it and deduct the interest from your taxes. 100% home equity from Old National. That's what's in it for you.
Here's to life.
From your bank for life, Old National.
And welcome back. One of the battle of the boards. Kenny Schultz, 17-11 in favor of Bloomington South.
Bloomington South has done everything right up to this point. And as I said, it seems like Vincennes is missing their assignments on the defensive blockout. I still think that comes with playing the zone. They've been kicking it in, kicking it out. If they don't hit it on the outside, they're hitting it on the inside on the offensive board. And Vincennes has never found a rhythm offensively. And, you know, they're down 24-12, but they can get, there it is again.
Ross Freeman, who has at least 5 rebounds to go along with his 4 points.
A lot of holes defensively right now for Vincennes' defense, and Bloomington South, their guards are just tenacious out here defensively. They got hands. Look at him. He's just all over.
9-0 run now by the Panthers.
And they need to stop the bleeding, as it is called. They need to get a bucket right here. Nice little screen down on the low post.
They find Hetty. But again, it can't go. Low with the rebound. He works it well. Doesn't get it to go. And a strong rebound by Ross Freeman.
There are lids on the basket.
Vincennes shooting a deplorable 5 of 20 right now. And Holmes brings it back out.
That was a good way to describe that, deplorable. It's not very good.
And Justin Lowe with a rebound.
And really didn't have position there. He just muscled in and got the ball. So they were real fortunate they didn't get Bloomington South, didn't get another basket up there.
Vincennes looking for someone to pick up the slack offensively.
I don't know that the game plan is to have Hetty and Lowe at 22 feet, but because they're having so many problems in the rhythm of their offense, these guys have had to come out a little bit higher in this offensive scheme. Oh, nice cut across the middle. They missed him.
They get it to Lowe. And a deflection and a foul. They're going to get a foul on McLaughlin.
You know, there's a foul there, but if you were watching out front just a few seconds ago, anytime the Vincennes player moves, backs up, leans backwards, the Bloomington South players are taking away any space that they have, and it's really created problems for them. They're doing a great job of helping in the lane, taking away. They're extending all the passing lane guys, and that's tough to play against.
You know, we've seen a lot of good coaching in the last, not that we haven't seen in the first 2 games. Last 2 games, I mean, like this game, Bloomington South taking Charles Hetty out of the game, dropping 3 people on him. Right. They're not letting Rath touch the ball outside the 3-point line, much like Christian County did to Timmy Long. They didn't want him getting the ball where he had a wide open 3 or a good look at the 3.
And you know, even what makes that even better is they're not just taking Hetty out by dropping people, they're putting pressure on the passers. They can't find Hetty because they can't see the passing lanes.
Bloomington South finds Hankins, but it doesn't go. Here's Rath.
Tell you what, if you play defense and you put pressure, nobody except maybe Josh Davey likes to play against it.
Yeah. Another.
It's physical out there.
It sure is. And the drought is over. Steve Sutherland, or excuse me, Shane Cooper puts it in. 26-14. Bloomington South with a minute 20 to go in the second quarter.
Vincennes has got to feel good about the fact that they're only down 12 points at this at this time in the game with a minute 11 and a half. Only 4 points by Lincoln in this quarter alone. I don't think that happens very often to Gene Miller's crew.
Real hard with the asserted rebound. Under a minute, 50 seconds. And very fine defense from Ross Freeman.
The pressure in the passing lanes are allowing the defense in the post to come around and get that basketball.
Good decision from McLaughlin to Shively, and it's 28-14.
It's good perimeter defense, and then the post people are getting over. Vincennes is trying to run a post-to-post screen, which normally they should be able to get something out of, but the pressure on the perimeter has been so great by Bloomington South. If they can keep this up for 2 more quarters, it'd be amazing.
Bloomington South has committed only 1 turnover. Mitch Rath, Vincennes hasn't turned it over that much, only 7 times, but as they get it up to Holmes, didn't quite have his feet, and a rebound. Shane Cooper, and they call it on McLaughlin. Tough That was a tough foul.
Yeah, it really was. I'm not so sure that that might have looked more like a foul. And with 3 seconds on the clock to get a silly foul like that, I'm shocked that Vincennes took the shot as quick as they did, I believe with about 12 or 13 seconds left, and South had a great opportunity to score. But, you know, you get caught up in the game, guys, and you don't pay attention to the clock. And coaches will tell you they're constantly going over things in practice about knowing what's on the clock.
Stuckey gave it a good shot, but far too short, and that's where Vincennes finds himself. Bloomington South with a doubling the score here at halftime, 28-14. Bloomington South over Vincennes Lincoln. We'll be back with more halftime of the Hoops Classic Game 4 after this.
You're watching the NBC 14 Hoops Classic, brought to you by Citizens Bank, Temple Wolf Ford, and WFIE NBC 14.
What does your bank look like? As financial service moves toward the high-tech future, you might have thought your bank would look cold and impersonal. But electronic banking is so fast, simple, and convenient. You'll have more time to do the things that are really important. Electronic banking from Citizens. Just another example of leading the way by banking your way.
Leading the way, banking your way, Citizens.
What does your bank look like?
During a season of giving and get-togethers, it's time for the best savings of the year. It's on now, the 19th annual Toyota-thon. Toyota dealers are out to sell 32,000 new Camrys nationwide with great limited-time deals. Now's the time to lease Camry at a low $219 a month and discover what Toyota quality and value are all about. Or get special 6.9% financing if you buy America's #1 selling automobile. It only comes once a year.
Hurry in for great Toyota-thon savings at Kenny Kent Toyota. No doubt about it.
The best brands in the business. You'll find them at Rabin Tire. We carry full lines of Goodyear and Michelin tires. Full lines, not just a few of the most common styles. And they're fitted to your vehicle by experienced professionals. Sales and service people who really know what they're doing and care about it. Good tires, good service, good people. At Rabin Tire.
Vincennes Lincoln, a new home with a great tradition. Annually one of the best basketball programs in the state with more to be proud of. A state-of-the-art media center plus a fine arts program that brings out a student's creativity. An advanced computer laboratory prepares students to handle the technology of today and the future. Students learn from other cultures and their languages. NBC 14 salutes the Alices of Vincennes Lincoln High School, proud participants in this year's NBC 14 Hoops Classic.
Welcome back to Roberts Stadium, Game 4 of the NBC 14 Hoops Classic. We are at halftime. Bloomington South leading Vincennes Lincoln 28-14. And we are in the midst of our 4th Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury Hoops Express shootout. This lucky fan getting a shot at a 1998 Ford F-150 flare-side pickup truck by converting a layup, free throw, three-point shot, and a half-court shot. He's going for the three-point shot, and he gets that one to go. And that is all the time he has. So a nice effort, but to no avail. And the Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury Hoops Express shootout, and that will continue all basketball season long. Welcome back to Roberts Stadium. I'm joined by, of course, Mike Madriaga, who's been here all morning and afternoon. And, of course, a familiar face to Tri-State basketball fans, Harrison coach Will Wyman. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
What do you think of the Classic?
I think it's a great idea. It's really exciting to see this, and you know, the teams that are here are putting on a good show, and I just think it's really great for basketball here in the Tri-State.
Coach, you've got some Vincennes ties. I know you're up here scouting. I know that for a fact. Tell us about those Vincennes ties.
Well, of course, my dad coached there for quite a while. And we moved to Vincennes when I was in 5th grade and graduated from high school there, played basketball, and have a lot of good friends up there.
Does this kind of surprise you right now, the position Eugene Miller's in?
Well, it does a little bit. I know Bloomington South's got a nice team and a nice young team coming in here. really kind of surprised at the pace a little bit. You know, they've got good pressure on Vincennes guards, and Vincennes is struggling shooting the basketball a little bit, and I'm a little surprised.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Harrison Warriors. You're 3-2 right now. Of course, you lost to Boise earlier, and that says a lot about Christian County. You beat Boise out earlier. Tell me about the team and the progress you think they're making so far.
Well, like you said, we're 3-2. After Boise, we went up to Terre Haute North and lost to a very good Terre Haute North team on the road, and we're pleased with our group so far. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I think you know, we've got a group of kids that are willing to work, and we're really excited about the second half of the season. And we come back and play a makeup game with Floyd Central on January the 2nd at home, and play Mount Vernon at home on January the 3rd. So we've got 2 tough games coming up this coming week.
Well, Willow, I've refrained to say class all day long, but we're going to be into the new year now. How do the coaches refocus on this now that we're into a class system?
Well, I tell you one thing, it's a little bit different, you know, from a scouting approach. Just like today, you know, we don't have to worry about Boise anymore, for example, so we didn't have to scout them. We do play Vincennes later on. We play Memorial later on in the regular season, and that's probably one of the biggest differences right there.
You focus on those 5A or 4A teams, right?
Right.
Okay, Will Wyman, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll continue our halftime activities right here with Vincennes trailing Bloomington South 28-14 at halftime. We're back live at Roberts Stadium to continue the NBC 14 Hoops Classic right after this.
Looks like somebody missed the Shoe Carnival half-price sale. The holidays are here, and so are the savings, but only for a limited time. Because right now at Shoe Carnival, when you buy 1 pair at the white sticker price, you get a 2nd pair for half price. Plus, this week, a huge selection of women's boots are only $19.88. Special bonus items and a half-price sale, only at Shoe Carnival. Brand name gifts for every walk of life.
The Indiana MRI has taken great care of me, and they will be just as concerned about you as they have been about me.
Our open MRI is designed to accommodate both claustrophobic and larger patients in a restful and relaxing atmosphere.
Open, caring, and being concerned is what we stand for at the Indiana Open MRI. Call Indiana MRI today.
Back at Roberts Stadium now, you're looking at Seymour as we get set to continue the final game of the NBC 14 Hoops Classic with Bloomington South leading Vincennes Lincoln 28-14. Welcome back inside Roberts Stadium. We're joined now by WFIE Vice President General Manager Steve Langford, who's, along with a lot of other folks, helped put this our classic together. And your thoughts as we're getting toward the end of it now on how things have gone today?
I'm just exhausted.
You and a lot of other people.
No, it's just, you know, we've anticipated this for so long, and to see it happen, and it happened so wonderfully. This is successful beyond my wildest imagination. I think we had almost 6,000 in attendance.
I think so.
For a first time at the tournament, that's unbelievable. And I think it was a quality event. I think everyone enjoyed it. Some great games, and I want to take the time, and I can't mention everybody, but our team at WFIE, I mean, I know everybody really loved doing this, but I want to thank you all so much. We look great. I think we're very proud of our work, and I'm very proud of our team.
Well, it bodes well for a 1998 Hoops Classic.
Oh, absolutely. You know, give us a call with some suggestions out there. We want to make this the best regional tournament that we can make it. I mean, basketball is such a tradition here in the Tri-State. This is going to go on for many, many years, and I just couldn't be happy.
Not to get lost in the shuffle of this, there's other things that are going on. The Leader Scholarships, of course. Tell us about those.
Well, our partner, Citizens Bank, we've both anteed up some money to seed money to start a foundation, which will then give scholarships to 1 scholarship per high school throughout the Tri-State. And that for this first year will be 56 $1,000 scholarships. And we will try to raise money throughout the year to expand that. as partners between Citizens Bank and WFIE. And this kicks it off. This tournament helped kick it off for us. It helped to raise some of the money needed to be able to fund the scholarship.
Well, good luck. Thanks again. Congratulations on a great classic. Let's get down to Dean Webster for halftime stats. Dean?
Thanks very much, guys. And again, congratulations to our boss, Steve Langford, for putting this on. And there's other names, too, very quickly. Our thanks to Bruce Valines, kind of like the tournament director, Clarence Mann, all of these fine and talented technical people that you don't see, but we couldn't do it without them. Our thanks to Marion Paul, our chief engineer, Linda Haddix, and her entire sales staff, Jeff Fisher in particular. Guys like Joe McCool. Thanks, fellas. Right now, the stats, what jumps out at you, Kenny?
I'll tell you, the biggest thing I see is the turnovers. Bloomington South with only 1 turnover, Vincennes with 8, and I think that is absolutely the difference in the scoring. You see the difference in field goals, but I'll tell you what, 12 of 31, 6 of 22 for Vincennes, but where do you think those baskets came from? Off those turnover situations. Free throws have not been a factor. The three-point shot, a little bit, but you know, 12 three-point shots is basically what Gene Miller wanted them to take. I think he could live with the 4 of 12 with Bloomington South hitting 4 of 12. That's why he probably went to the zone. I think the big thing that Gene Miller's saying, fellas, 8 turnovers, we got to create something on the other end if we're going to have a chance here.
Scoring-wise, in a low-scoring game, 28-14, leading the way with 5 points apiece, Kyle Hankins and John Holmes. Charles Hetty has 4 to lead Vincennes. Here we go, second half, the final half of the day, and Vincennes turns it over. Mitch Rath knew it.
You know, Mike, I might mention, and I know most of our viewers know it, Kyle Hank, he's only a freshman.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, he's playing out here on Roberts Stadium like he's a senior. I mean, he's all over people defensively, and he's doing a great job offensively. I really like this kid. College coaches, keep an eye on him.
He's number 5 in white, and here's their main man, number 11, John Holmes, the coach's son, puts it up and in.
Quick release, a little give and go, and usually it's a give and go to the basket. That time just a kickback for the 18-footer.
7 points. He's also number one on academically. He carries a 4-point.
I know he's a hard worker, and you know, he's a good student, and you can just see it on both ends of the court. He plays so smart and plays so aggressively.
Nice entry into Ross Freeman. Boy, great ball movement. They hit the outlet, then they get it back inside, and they get a chance for another 3-point play.
You know, Mike, in the first game, we talked about how the easiest time to score was after your opponent scores. Well, Vincennes goes down on one end, gets a basket. Bloomington's out, boom, right back, scores, and gets a potential three-point play out of it. You just got to love the way Bloomington South is playing right now.
Ironically, these two schools with great traditions, this is the first time they've ever met. We're honored that they're meeting here in the Classic. The Panthers and the Alice's. 32-16. Mitch Rath. And a rebound by Mr. Shibley.
Vincennes just continues the poor shooting right now. They're really struggling.
Hankins. Strong to the hole. Nice move.
Goes left and comes back with his right hand. A really good player. 7
points for him. He and Holmes, 7 apiece. And it's an 18-point Bloomington advantage. Hankins gets his hands on it. Holmes completes the job, and they get the steal.
Do a great job of collapsing again on the ball. Anytime the ball gets into the paint area, they're collapsing and slapping.
Boy, Shibley picks up the rebound as they try to skip pass. Again, you better keep track on the perimeter of these guys or they'll burn you because they'll shoot all day.
Absolutely. The guards are not very big physically, but they're extremely quick and they work hard and they're smart. You can tell the intelligence that they play with out there.
Terrific ball movement.
Speaking of intelligence, Dean Webster's back with us.
After his extended lunch break, and a rebound by Justin Lowe. 5:50 to go in the third quarter. Vincennes looking at its biggest deficit. Bloomington South up by 18.
48-37 paid today.
Yeah, great, excellent.
Probably had about
over six. Probably had about
over 6. We had about 6,000 in the building.
Hetty, by the way, with a missed shot, will go to the line as Shane Cooper checks in for Mitch Rath.
You know, we talked about one of the keys being the establishment of the inside game by Vincennes. They came out and did it really in the first series, but they've never gotten a consistent as far as establishing that part of the game, and that's why they got 17 points up in the third quarter. But they really need to get that going right now if they're going to have a chance to get in here and win this basketball game.
Eddie with a couple of much-needed free throws, and they're back within 16. Again, if you're just joining us, Bloomington South does not have a home gym. Kind of like the nomads of Indiana basketball. And Mr. McLaughlin with a miss. Shane Cooper with a rebound. Talk about adjusting to adversity. There's not too many coaches in Indiana would accept not having a gym to practice in and play in. Down goes Todd Rath, and a sensational athletic move by John Holmes. He lost it on the way up, but still made the play. These are the hardest working pair of guards that I have seen today, and that's not a put down to any of the other teams. They just, Bloomington South's guards came in here with a mission, and they are carrying it out. You try to get kids to, boy, they got their hands up to work hard and to keep moving their feet. These guys are textbook at how to play defense. They absolutely are. I was bragging on Clint Keon early that he was one of the few players that I've seen do that. I've seen two guards now for Bloomington South, Hankins and Holmes. They're both moving their feet and their hands at the same time. And they're coming up. They got those long, lanky arms. They're coming up with the steals. Here's a replay as we see the foul. Cooper will inbound it as Scott Fisher, number 41, comes in now to work on Lowe. Almost gets the block and a rebound. Shibley. Adam Shibley with another rebound. Hankins and Holmes, the two leading scorers for Bloomington. Good ball movement again by Bloomington South. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Vincennes is now manning up here. They've been manning up here the last couple minutes, trying to create some pressure and turnover situations. McLaughlin gets it blocked, but they get it back and in. Boy, they're strong inside, guys. They've got some strong bodies in there. It's Fisher. (38-18). It's a 20-point advantage as Hankins commits the foul on Cooper. You know, that's a foul, and somebody might say, oh, it's a dumb foul. But you know what? That's one of those fouls that goes into the mind of the offensive player and says, every time I touch the ball, this guy's going to be in my face. And it's really a mental type war that's being fought out there right now. That's not a bad foul. He's up in there slapping, and he's in your face. And you don't want to get the ball sometimes when that situation's happening. Petty and Lowe and McLaughlin wrestle for it, and it'll go out of bounds. It'll go back to the Vincennes Lincoln Alices. It's a good call by the official. Lowe just came up and grabbed the ball. There was no block. As you can see it clearly on the replay, there was no block out, and that's probably the biggest thing I've seen in the games today, a lack of physical block out. We've seen some checkouts, but we haven't seen it consistently, and I know that that's going to improve in the second half of the season. Beg your pardon, the ball does go to Bloomington. Possession change. Right. McLaughlin finds the man, Fisher. Scott Fisher. Boy, a wonderful pass. Another skip pass, Mike, that you talked about earlier. They're using it, and they're using it very successfully. Against the zone, they used it well, and they're using it in the man as well, too. Justin Lowe. And a foul on Adam Shibley. Shibley is strong. I mean, Justin Lowe just made a textbook up and under move. I mean, he spun in. Look at the move. Beautiful up and under move. He goes up strong, and he's right there. I mean, it's a foul, but he's keeping 2 points from going up on that board the easy way. Great move, though, by Justin Lowe. A 22, now a 21-point lead for Bloomington South. Lowe will try to convert. Vincennes shooting just 27% from the field. Bloomington South 44%. And with a timeout, it's 40-18, 3:26 to go in the third quarter. Bloomington South very much in command. And we'll be back in just a moment.
What does your bank look like? Today it can look like your telephone with voice banking from Citizens. With your phone, make transfers and get information 24 hours a day. pay bills,
What'll work?
or apply for a loan.
I found this car.
Voice banking, another example of leading the way by banking your way.
Leading the way, banking your way, citizens.
What does your bank look like?
It's over. She's gone. 3 weeks and she dumps me like a bad habit. I'm really hurting. Thanks for being there for me, man. Why me? Like, she can do better. I'm a happening guy. I got a part-time job. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm a loser.
The Frisco Burger, a juicy burger with bacon, melting cheese, and tomato on crunchy grilled San Francisco-style sourdough bread. Only at Hardee's.
So how's that girlfriend of yours?
Okay, 40-20, Bloomington South very much in command. Let's go now to Jenny Whitberg at courtside with another Evansville ace. Jen?
Mike, I found Chris Hollander in the stands. He's a forward for University of Evansville Aces. Chris, you all have a big game coming up here tomorrow night at Roberts Stadium. Tell me a little bit about that tomorrow.
Well, we have a game against Bradley University, and Bradley's always had a good program, and they're going to come in here, and we got a good opportunity to get a win tomorrow night.
What do you think about your new teammate?
I think he's a good ball player. He's a strong kid for being in high school. He does a lot of things well. He's going to do a lot of things good for the program next year.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jen. And I'm sure if Charlie Hetty has as nice a career as Chris Hollander's had, Jim Cruz and the Aces fans will be thrilled. We wish, again, Chris, luck tomorrow. They'll need it against the Bradley Braves in a nationally televised game from here at Roberts.
Speaking of Chris Hollander, what a hard-working young man who's improved his game every year, and I don't think anybody has a better shot fake. At 6'5", he does more underneath than most 7-footers do.
We saw some great shot fakes earlier today by a Mount Vernon Rams team, but this team is also very good, very disciplined. Here's one of the best shooters in the Classic, John Holmes.
Quick release, Mike. He really comes off those screens. He gets himself squared up and just releases the ball quickly. Oh!
And Shane Cooper knocks down one of the Panthers. Holmes says, I'm all right.
I don't know. You know, I know the screen that was being set, but I'm not so sure that he didn't lean. And he did. He pushed his body out and changed the direction of the screen, and that was definitely a foul. If he'd held his position and not turned his body, then that would have been a legitimate screen. But, hey, John Holmes has run into some screens today.
Oh, he's like been running into buildings all day.
Yeah, he really has.
2 or 3 times. He doesn't have a lot of meat on him because he's so wiry, and that's why he can run so fast. He's like Dean. He's very svelte.
Yeah, but well, let's not go too far. But yeah, he does good. Hey, guys, you know, we really haven't mentioned that the Aces and Bradley are here tomorrow with ESPN2, I believe. Yep. And hey, let's fill the stadium and get on ESPN2.
There you go.
2:15 to go in the third quarter.
I don't think any of us expected this kind of game in game 4 here. I thought this was going to be, as you said, a chess match, 2 4-point game the whole way, and I'm a little surprised at it.
I am too. I really thought, but you know, it's come down to Vincennes hasn't shot well, and the turnover ratio is 12-1 right now.
And a nice move, Tom Brillhart. And guys, let's remember this team, Bloomington South, in effect, it's the same bunch that took state champion North to overtime in the sectional finals last year. So these kids set the, let the word go out last year.
They play good basketball in Bloomington, right in that pocket area of Bloomington with Edgewood and Bedford and the different teams in there. They play good basketball up there, and they play hard-nosed basketball. And if Bloomington South can play defense on the perimeter every game out, my gosh, they're going to win. Bloomington North better get ready up there. I mean, they're going to win a lot of basketball.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier this week, I don't know that Bloomington North's the best team in Bloomington.
No, I'm not sure anymore after seeing the defense that these guys can come out.
It's going to take a mighty fine team to beat this bunch. And Marion must have been very good the night they played them. Holmes said one of the things might have been he said, I don't know if it was the Marion mystique.
Absolutely.
Or if we just kind of, went in flat, and he said, but we really never recovered. Holmes didn't really get, and over the back, Scott Fisher, as Brillhart now is making things happen for the green-clad Alices.
Yeah, he did a much better job of blocking out on that, getting his body into him, forced him to come over the top. But boy, he jumped up there and got that long arm. He almost got it there. You see the replay. And you really have to go back into these Bloomington South guys physically if you're going to keep them off the board.
Vincennes fans that are here saying, come on, let's go. Justin Lowe turns, and it's Scott Fisher and a jump ball as he takes a tumble.
You know, you talked about the mystique of maybe Bloomington South going into playing. I think there's Marions and Anderson and Roberts Stadium. You know, those are three places that I've always wanted to take a team into and coach at. And haven't had the opportunity up to this point. Who knows what the future holds, but imagine going into Anderson, going into Marion, Roberts Stadium play. That's what high school basketball in Indiana is all about.
Nice pass into Lowe. Tough angle. Brillhart is there, and he gets the bounce. It might have been like years ago when I was a kid, Muncie Central was
absolutely
a great Ron Bonham and the boys. Those were, you know, the gym was bigger than the town in terms of seating.
Muncie Central has that, and still has a good, you know, a great mystique. They've maybe struggled a little bit the last few years, but they're still a solid program.
All around it, what do you think of the class system?
Well, I'm not a fan of the class system. I've never been in favor of it. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But you know, it's here, so you have to play with it. You have to adjust, just like Coach Holmes has adjusted to no practice facility and no game facility. And boy, he's done a good job with that.
Has he ever? An 18-point advantage, 42-24, as you can see, down to 12 seconds. This young man's been marvelous. John Holmes. Shane Cooper now one-on-one. Picks it out, gets it inside. It's partially blocked. The basket will not count. It doesn't go. But it still is an 18-point lead. It'll be tough for the Alices to overcome it. 42-24. And we'll be back for the final 8 minutes of the Hoops Classic in just a moment.
The Charity Countdown Challenge is going on now at Riverbend Chevy Old.
And Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury to see who can sell the most vehicles before the ball drops.
And to see who can donate the most to the Tri-State Food Bank. The big green dot means extra cash savings at Riverbend.
Temple Wolf has special year-end pricing on every new model in stock.
Who will win the Countdown Cup?
Who can offer you the best savings?
Riverbend Chevy Old.
No, it's Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Highway 41 North in Henderson.
Old National. What's in it for you?
How about something that'll give us a tax break?
We're gonna need one.
Here you go. 100% home equity from Old National Bank. Tap into all the equity in your home and save big at tax time. Old National's home equity line of credit, as easy to use as writing a check. You decide where and when to use it and deduct the interest from your taxes. 100% home equity from Old National. That's what's in it for you.
Here's to life.
From your bank for life, Old National.
Again, Mike Blake along with Kenny Schulteis, Dean Webster. We thank Roy Pickerell and Jerry Gray. Roy, the fine statistician for Kentucky Wesleyan, who's helping us today with our stats. He's had a lot of work to do, Kenny. There's been a lot of points put up on the board and all kinds of assists and rebounds. And right now, winning the battle both of the stats and on the floor, the Bloomington South Panthers, purple and white, the state champions of football. They're going to make a run in 4A in basketball here.
Well, if they play this way the rest of the year, they're going to, because they put so much pressure defensively. They do so many nice things with the basketball. But we're talking about an underclassmen team here. We're talking about a team that's going to be back next year, much as Bloomington North was 2 years ago.
David Crawl, number 21, back in. He too will drive you nuts if you have to guard him, because he never stands still. These guys are always running around. Fine, beautiful pass inside to Fisher. And the pass, Steve Sutherland with the assist. 6 points for Fisher.
And Vincennes is just continuing to struggle from the field. Only about 29% right now from the field. And a lot of their shots, like, you know, right there, fortunately they got fouled on it. They just really don't look to be good shots. But Bloomington South, on the other hand, who is shooting much better in the second half than they did the first half, still isn't, they're not burning the net, so to speak, but yet they continue to play good, solid defense. That's the difference. The turnovers, 13 for Vincennes right now. only 4 for Bloomington South. You know, that is a big disparity in the turnover situation.
Guys, I didn't see it happen, but apparently Charles Hetty's been injured. He's got an ice pack up on his ankle, and he's out of the game, and looks like he's probably done for the day.
It sure does.
That's not going to help the Alice's move there.
With 7:17 to go, they've got enough problem. There you see it. Let's hope it's not serious. I think the look says it all.
Yeah, it didn't look too happy.
Eddie has already missed the first 4 games of the season. And a pretty shot. Boy, it doesn't matter.
They're coming from everywhere,
Carmichael,
Mike.
that's right. And he's a freshman, another freshman.
Coming from everywhere.
6 points. You know, we want to thank all the Stuckey puts it up from way outside. And Carmichael brings it down. And Carmichael with the over-the-back fouls Cooper. I want to thank the various bands that have been here today and the Vincennes Lincoln High School Band Department. The pep band is made up of the high school jazz band, the Variations, and they've been in business the 74th year. Those kids, too, give up part of the holiday weekend to be here. We appreciate it. And I know the Vincennes people appreciate all the support that their band gives them. They've played in the Toyota Gator Bowl, the field show and parade show contest, and has performed twice on national television over the past year or so. They've been in the Indy 500 parade and on MTV in 1995. The Vincennes Lincoln High School Band, the pride of the green, the Variations. We're glad they're here with us today.
Yeah, we've had some good music throughout. You know, people can't see it when we go to break, but you and I are down here boogieing in between the shots. And Dean's been up on the table a few times, but for the most part, everything about today has been classic.
Well, I tell you what, one thing that hasn't been classic for our friend Gene Miller has been the shooting of his Alice's. Just a tough day at the office, 28% from the field. And that's one of the reasons why they're losing here. And John Holmes knocks it down as he goes down.
And got fouled at the end. Easily could have been a free throw situation.
11 points, but he does so much more. And it's now a 48-25 lead. We're under 6 minutes to go.
Boy, perimeter shooting has plagued the Alice's all day long. They've just really struggled there.
Nice feed, a foul and basket. Hankins connects with Ross Freeman, who completes it again. These kids are good finishers. We saw that the earlier games. The good teams know how to finish the break, and these kids do it.
They put so much pressure. When you make a mistake, miss a shot, Bloomington South has put so much pressure on you, and the defense has just struggled in getting back. And you know, they hit these three-point plays, it'd be even worse today, but they've just done a nice job of hitting their shots when the opportunities are there, putting so much pressure on the defense and getting the shot.
Five and a half minutes. Brillhart, nice pass down to Justin Lowe, and credit Holmes for getting a hand on it before Freeman gets the rebound. Again, if you're open, they'll find you.
And we had a nice crowd come down from Vincennes for the Classic. I'm sure they're a little disappointed right now.
Justin Lowe, you know, Vincennes, boy, for all that's one thing I'll miss with the class system with the semi-state regionals, because there'd be a sea of green here in Roberts.
Great fans at Vincennes.
And a foul. They've won 2 state championships. The last coming in 1981 when Vincennes' assistant Doug Crook and that bunch won it. Boy, were they a good team, huh? Yeah,
I remember Doug quite well. I was playing for Jasper at the time. We went down to Lincoln, and they kicked our butts by about 20 points. And Crooker, he could fill it up.
They kicked a lot of people out.
We had a pretty good player by the name of Mike Ballinger, but it just wasn't enough. And Doug Crook, he knew how to take care of business. He was an outstanding player and outstanding leader on the floor.
So now Vincennes with some fresh troops for the final 5 minutes, a little under 5 minutes to go, as Adam Shively goes to the line, and this kid's coming back too. He is a straight A student. I think John Holmes said, JR said 6 or 7 of his top players are A or straight A students. Oh boy.
When you're built like they are and you think like they do, you're going to win basketball games. And I think that's another thing that has impressed me about Bloomington South is how physical they've been down low. I mean, they have taken no prisoners. They've went to the basket strong.
Talk about a strong move to the basket. That's Curzan for Vincennes. 52-27.
They're a team that's going to get continually better as well.
Yeah.
Being so young.
Oh, as long as they stay together and some of these guys can provide the leadership for them, they are going to get nothing but better. I mean, the only way that they don't improve is if they quit improving because of their individual attitudes. I mean, that's the only way a team like Bloomington South is not going to get better.
As a former coach, don't you wish the Indiana schools could play a couple more games a year?
Well, either that or allow you more time in the summer, because so much can be built continuity-wise outside of the game pressure situation. And I think that's where kids in Kentucky and Illinois get a break in the team camps. They get to play together with not a whole lot on the line. They can experiment a little bit, get to know each other. That's a big thing about a team coming together, is spending time together.
John Holmes with that Dan Marino release of his. Boy, is he quick. 4 minutes to go. Battled around. Vincent Grillhart comes back with it. I'm impressed with Grillhart. He's been active.
Grillhart's come in and done a nice job, as has Curzan. And, you know, we're not slighting Vincennes. I mean, they haven't quit or anything. They're still battling. They just can't get things to go in.
And they're playing a very fine basketball team. We're going to take one more timeout. 3:56 to go. 54-27. Bloomington heading for its 7th win in 8 starts. The finish coming up.
What does your bank look like? Now it looks like your telephone with voice banking from Citizens. Simple 24-hour access to banking services. Transfer funds.
For express transfer.
Pay bills or apply for loans.
For bill payment.
Or talk to a real person when you need to.
This is Amy. May I help you?
Voice banking from Citizens.
Leading the way, banking your way, Citizens.
What does your bank look like?
The Charity Countdown Challenge is going on now at Riverbend Chevy Olds.
And Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury to see who can sell the most vehicles before the ball drops.
And to see who can donate the most to the Tri-State Food Bank. The big green dot means extra cash savings at Riverbend.
Temple Wolf has special year-end pricing on every new model in stock.
Who will win the Countdown Cup?
Who can offer you the best savings?
Riverbend Chevy Olds.
No, it's Temple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Highway 41 North in Henderson.
And Vincennes goes to the line. The beat goes on here with the pep band from Vincennes. Mike Sharona and Tom Brillhart is at the free throw line. Again, in the battle of the boards, not too big a disparity, 32-25.
It's really not that bad. You know, 32-25. It's 21 to 17 on the defensive boards and 11 to 8. A little bit difference there on the offensive boards, but look at the glaring difference. 27, almost 28% from the field for Vincennes, while Bloomington South come in at 48%. That is a big difference from the field. On the three-point field goals, again, not a whole lot of difference there. Nobody's really ringing that up in the second half, and free throws have been almost non-existent. Yet Vincennes has shot more free throws than Bloomington South, and Bloomington South comfortably leads this basketball game.
Tom Brillhart, a sophomore, getting some good playing time here today. He'll be a factor later in the season. Hankins with some hang time, but it doesn't go. Brillhart wrestles it, and here come the Alices. Hankins gets his hands on it, kicked away. It'll be maintained by Vincennes.
Hankins misses the shot down on this end. I'm not so sure he didn't get knocked around a little bit before he shot it, but he gets down the court. He's the last guy down here, gets down the court and is able to knock the ball away.
Richter, he'll put it up. Grillhart controls it. So a young team here, the sophomore Rab. A lot of diving around and controlled by Vincennes. Mitch Rapp. And a foul on Richter.
just continue to struggle from the field, and all you can do is put some people on the floor and get them some experience. Try to find a little bit in the game, you know, get some improvement, create some depth for your basketball team, but they're just shooting poorly. There's nothing you can do about it when you can't put the ball in the hoop.
Coming down to the 3-minute mark.
I can promise you this, if Vincennes and Bloomington South played tomorrow, it'd probably be a little bit different as far as the game is concerned. Gene Miller's not going to let, you know, this go unnoticed, but, you know, it's just tough when guys, when you can't put it in a hoop, it's just hard.
Bloomington South just out hustling their opponents. And again, Vincennes leading scorer, Charles Hetty, out with what appears to be an ankle injury. We hope it's not too serious, but he is absolutely done for the day. 2.5 minutes to go as Dean's going to go down to the end of the court to get our player of the game. Who do we pick here? You got to go with Holmes, do you think?
Well, you know, I think Holmes has done a nice job, and Hankins has done a nice job for a freshman, and we've had a number of different players that have played pretty well. What do you think?
I think you go with Holmes.
I think you have to. His leadership, his ball handling's been outstanding. Hit some big shots when he's had to, but you know, the freshman Hankins isn't too far behind, at least not today.
That's right. Curzan batted around, gets it back. Todd Rath, as Vincennes continues to put up blanks. And Rath the other way. And he cannot complete it, but he gets the foul.
You know, things are tough when you can't even convert the layup, but they did get a foul out of it. It's just been, you don't save this tape other than to go over it and learn, but it's not one you save for your historical reference.
There you go. David Prawl commits the foul.
You know, Bloomington South's post people have done a nice job today, too, Mike. They've really been physical on the inside. They never let Hetty or Lowe get established out there. They forced them out on the perimeter. You got to give those guys a lot of credit.
You sure do. And by the way, we wish Vincennes good luck in their final holiday classic. Comes up in a couple days.
Yeah, that's always a good
one. Boy, let's hope they get Hetty back for that. Although right now, I'm sure there's some very concerned people because he looks like it could be. Hopefully it's nothing worse than a slight sprain.
Bossy comes in there, I believe, and North Central has in the past. I don't know if they're in there this year, but they usually have a pretty good tournament up there. North Central out of Indianapolis has got one of the better programs over the last 5 years in the state. A doormat program for a long time, a doormat program, and they've really improved.
1:44 to go. The final game of the 1997 inaugural NBC 14 Hoops Classic. Mike Blake along with Ken Schulteis and Dean Webster will be hearing from him momentarily as he awaits the end of the game for our player of the game. And Craig Curzan, there's that three that they've been looking for much of the afternoon.
For much of the afternoon.
9 points for Curzan. 54-34, a 20-point spread as Bloomington South has served notice. They are one mighty fine ball club.
Now, Mike, I know you don't want me to say this, but I have really enjoyed working with you and Dean today, but more importantly, working with somebody like yourself who has done so much for the Tri-State with the MDA Telethon and all the other charitable things you do. You are definitely an icon when it comes to helping people, and I know that I say this for a lot of people. Thank you for all you do for the people in the Tri-State.
Ken, thank you, and I accept that. It's unnecessary, and I accept it on behalf of NBC 14 and the wonderful people that I work with. Again, a chance to thank, when you mentioned the telethon, I thank all of our guys, to Clarence and Bruce and all of our directors, to the fine floor people who've been up since 6 o'clock. We got here at 7:15 this morning as they start to empty the benches. But also to the main man, to Steve Langford and all the people that have helped put this thing on, and to you, Kenny. This is you were terrific, and I'm sure if Dean were here at the moment, he'd say the same thing. Boy, you bring a tremendous insight to this game, and if you want to continue coaching, we wish you the best in that endeavor, but maybe we can do this again down the road.
Well, you know, if the opportunity's there, I'm sure I might pull up a seat with you guys. I don't have much to say, but I can find a little bit to add.
No. And this young man's played a nice ball game. Double figures, 11 points.
Yeah, he's been one of the bright spots in what has been a bad day for the Alices. But they'll be back. I know Gene Miller in this program very well, and they'll be back.
There's a big freshman on the floor right now, Marcus Barham.
6'7" freshman for Bloomington South.
Todd Rath can't get it to go. Down 28 seconds on the clock, as you can see, and a basket. Marcus Barham, and he's smiling as he goes down the court. Boy, a good-looking specimen.
You know, Bloomington South's only scored 56 points to Vincennes' 36, but they've really been in control of this game the whole way through. Other than the first few minutes, Bloomington South has just controlled it on both ends.
They've had a great game plan, haven't they?
They really have. They controlled the game on both ends, and that's really what I was looking for.
And Marcus does it again. That's the final score. We'll be back with a final recap. A 22-point win. Bloomington South going home with the game win in game number 4. We'll be right back.
You're watching the NBC 14 Hoops Classic, brought to you by Citizens Bank, Temple Ford, and WFIE NBC 14.
Live, local, late breaking.
This just in.
If it's important to you, we've got it covered. And nobody covers Tri-State news like the Newswatch 14 news team, the area's most watched and most respected news source. You count on the Newswatch 14 team for accurate, up-to-the-minute reporting, and we deliver, using the latest news-gathering technology to bring you the news you want. Tradition, teamwork, and innovation. More reasons why NBC 14 is the Tri-State's news leader.
Aardvark. Biplane. Eiffel Tower. What can you do with $2? How about getting 2 sandwiches at McDonald's? 2 big beefy quarter pounders with cheese for $2. Or 2 morning fresh bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for $2. 2 great sandwiches, $2. Did somebody say McDonald's?
They get their shot but once a year. Working tirelessly on the fundamentals, they rely on agility, a keen eye for a markdown, and the stamina to do it hundreds of times over, the wile to know what customers want, and the grit to take prices even lower. It's not a deal until they say it's a deal, for these are professionals focused on the ultimate event, Best Buy's year-end clearance and sale. It's the big one. It ends Saturday.
Vincennes Lincoln, a new home with a great tradition. Annually one of the best basketball programs in the state with more to be proud of. A state-of-the-art media center plus a fine arts program that brings out a student's creativity. An advanced computer laboratory prepares students to handle the technology of today and the future. Students learn from other cultures and their languages. NBC 14 salutes the Alices of Vincennes Lincoln High School, proud participants in this year's NBC 14 Hoops Classic.
Okay, final score 58-36. Now standing by with the player of the game and the winning coach, Dean Webster. Dino.
Yeah, let me talk to J.R. Holmes here. First, Coach, I don't think any of us expected this. Really a good win for you guys.
Well, it was good for us, and you got to give Vincennes some credit. That Hetty boy was hurt last night in practice, and he wasn't quite as mobile. But I thought our kids were ready to play and really had some opportunities in the first half. We only shot about 31%, had some good shots that we could really push away. But I was surprised that we were ahead that much, was able to control the game.
You guys got after defensively. That's where we thought you really won the game.
Well, we wanted to try to get on their guards a little bit, make them handle the ball up and down the floor and try to wear them down some, and paid off for us a little bit.
All right, I'm going to go over here and talk to a guy I think you know a little bit, John Holmes, just a junior. Hey, you guys get after it a little bit on those guards.
Yeah, we tried to take 23 out of the game because we knew he was a real good shooter, and we were trying to work hard on defense and, try to take them out of some of the stuff they wanted to do. So we just been working all week. You know, we kind of had a bad game against Marion last week, and we just really wanted to get after it and show everybody what we could do. So,
like playing in the stadium?
It's a nice place. There's a lot of, decent crowd. You know, it was a lot of fun. The court was longer. Yeah. It seemed, you kind of got winded a little bit quicker than normal, but we just kind of played through it and just played as hard as we can. So it was a great win for us. You know, I feel thankful.
One last thing. Who's the best team in Bloomington?
That'll be decided January 16th at Bloomington North Gym. So I want everybody to come out and watch that. All right.
All right. Very diplomatic. All right. We're going to go take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with the NBC 14 Hoops Classic to wrap everything up in just a moment.